Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to go through day 4 of Parasite Eve, our first new game playthrough. When we finished day 3, we'd completed the assault on the police station from Eve, defeated the mutated police dog boss up in the attic. Now we're just going to be dealing with the aftermath of that for the rest of the day. So a big part of today is once we get through the police station stuff, we're actually going to go do that junk farming over in Central Park. We talked about that before. We left that one location open with guaranteed encounter. We have a club to let us steal items from the enemies. And we've seen from a lot of the other encounters, a big thing we can steal, or a big thing that we get from some of the encounters, those birds, is the junk. So our goal for today is going to be getting 300 pieces of junk total, trade into Wayne, so then we can start making some of the best weapons in the game, outside of which you can get in the Chrysler building. Before we get to that part, we're just going to finish up a couple of things in the precinct here, move the story along just a little bit, and then afterwards we're going to head over to Central Park, start farming for those items. So all the assets in Central Park are going to stay the same, and the music's going to stay the same too, even though we've advanced 2 days in the story. Largely doesn't matter, since the encounter that we would be going at the next location, that hospital that they were all talking about, would be in the nighttime too. So you don't lose too much of a difference in the ambience and the feel of what it's supposed to actually look like outside. Just because of the way that they do the random encounter rate after you have that guaranteed encounter in some of these spaces, we might run across an enemy or two in the other rooms, the other locations we were supposed to go to. We go through here. But the space we're trying to get to is this screen here. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to switch over to that club. We'll do a little bit of inventory here. have too much in the way of extra space. But just to show you an idea of what I meant, go ahead, clear up some room here using our tool. We'll take the defense boosts off this jacket armor. Alright, come to this encounter here. What we're hoping for is we're going to use that club attack on these birds. Now, the downside about using melee attacks is once they move out of range, you'll miss. Now, I haven't gotten any of the junk from them stealing with that club. So I'm going to use this exit to leave the encounter, and now it's still guaranteed to come here whenever I hit that trigger point again. The idea is going to be to get a... Let's see if we stole that junk. One. That's what we want to do. Jump on these birds here without killing them. It's only a guarantee. Alright, so we stole that junk. Let's go ahead, we'll heal in this encounter. We don't want to lose this guaranteed encounter, because right now, since we didn't complete the fight, we're at 100%. So every time we pass that mark, we're going to be guaranteed to get that encounter. But right now, since our inventory is pretty clogged, we're going to go back to the police department, dump a bunch of stuff off with Wayne, that way he can hold all of that, and then we'll be able to farm that encounter holding 15, 20 pieces of junk before we have to go back and unload again. So that'll keep us from having to backtrack all the way back to the precinct a lot. You know, make sure that we get as much junk as we can in that series of encounters before we have to go back. And then when we go to dump it off with Wayne, it'll be giving him the most amount at one time. So that way we're just going to be that much closer every interaction to getting that ultimate weapon, all of the different ones that we're trying to get to, that you can get as you're farming all this junk here. Looks like we got an encounter with these snakes in this area here. Ooh, that's a lot of poison types. You see how we keep missing them because they get out of range walking around. Go ahead and use that poison cure that we just picked up. Since we're using the club, our attack gauge charges up pretty quickly. Stole another door. Go ahead and use it now so we don't keep taking that poison damage. You can see how this can kind of be a rough encounter between the contact damage and now our poison damage. Take a chance here. Finish him off. Select that, and we'll just replace our poison cure with that medicine once. And we'll go ahead and use the medicine. Since we'll be doing a lot of back and forth, farming that one encounter section for junk, we're going to try to get 300 pieces total. It does include the amounts that we've already gotten from our prior encounters. Whenever we dumped off junk before with Wayne, it's at least going to count that number towards it. So we've got a fair amount already loaded up there. So we're going to just go back and forth between the Central Park and the precinct here, farm that encounter for junk, and then once we're all done with that, we're going to go ahead, we're going to be able to get one of those weapons from Wayne, and then we can progress further further in the story, go to our next location, but now with a much more powerful weapon than we have. Alright, so after a lot of back and forth in Central Park, farming those birds, escaping the battle whenever they were killed and stolen from, to keep that encounter rate at 100%, never finishing it so it always spawned every time we crossed that line, filling up our inventory full of junk. That's all we wanted to steal from them. Filled our inventory full of junk, came back to here with Wayne to discard it, and now we're finally going to go through and discard this last batch we've gotten here. This is going to get us past that 300 mark. 300 pieces of junk. Now Wayne is going to craft us one of the ultimate weapons. There's a number of different types of weapons: handguns, machine guns, rifles, shotguns, anything that we can do from here. And basically, whatever one that he makes is going to be the best of that series, outside of some exceptions that you would get in the Chrysler building. If we leave it to Wayne at the bottom there, there's some random weapons that we can get. Some of them aren't as good as the other classes, and we can end up with duper junk, super junk, things that are absolutely worthless. So what I want to do, I know I've said before I prefer using the handgun just because it's got a nice attack time. It's low profile so that you can move and shoot. You get a lot more mobility out of it and a lot of customization. I'm going to go ahead and have him craft me the ultimate handgun. And then this is going to be the weapon that we're going to use for the rest of the day. We'll use various tools to take all those attributes off the M16 that we put on there. And then we can start using our trading cards and our permits to go ahead and increase the slots on this, so that way we can transfer all sorts of different attributes from other weapons, things we haven't really used yet, like incendiary or frost or tranquilizer and things like that, and put them on this weapon for us to carry through the rest of the game here. So now that we've got that, let's go ahead. Do we have any tools? No, I don't think we do. Looks like we used them all up for the moment. So in terms of our items, we do want to pick a couple of things out here just in case we need them. We'll sort through everything. Take a couple of medicines. Since now that we've finished that grinding over in the Central Park, we're actually going to get back to the game now. One last thing you can always do here, every time you leave the precinct and come back, that chest is going to be full with ammo. So if you ever need a quick refill, get another magazine up, go ahead and do that. So doing that grinding, that farming in Central Park took me about 3 hours back and forth here. So I'm going to go ahead, run over into the detective room here, make a save for this day, and then pick up the rest of day 4 at another job. Since it's been about 4 hours or so altogether for this portion, we'll take a quick break, come back, do a couple more things in the station that we have yet to do, and then we'll come back and get back into progressing the story. So we'll see everybody then. Thanks for watching.